It's music theory. Online, let's learn some theory. Online, by watching modules. Online, with music theory. Online.
Hi Theory 1 students. Here we are in Module 22, which is the last module in the theory program. In this last module, we're going to look at terms and signs, and I'm hoping that you've already looked at these throughout the course because you've needed to answer these for some of the review tests. This slide is showing you the terms and signs for dynamics. I've put them on the slide here from the quietest to the loudest, and then other ones after that. 2 P's is pianissimo, and that means very quiet. When you have only 1 P, it's piano and it's quiet. MP is mezzo piano, and it means moderately quiet. MF is mezzo forte, and it means moderately loud. Forte is written with an F, and it means loud. And of course, fortissimo is very loud. You've used all of these dynamics in your music since your first grade. FP you may not have seen as frequently. It means forte piano, which means it's loud and then it's immediately quiet. You've seen crescendos in your music in the past, and a crescendo means gradually getting louder. And the opposite of that is a decrescendo, which means gradually getting quiet. Another word for decrescendo is diminuendo, and it means also gradually quiet. This slide is showing us Italian terms for tempo. I've tried to put them in order from the slowest to the fastest, and also tried to come up with a saying that will help you remember the order from the slowest to the fastest. So first of all, adagio is slower than lento. It's very slow. Lento is slow. Largo is also slow, and it's stately and it's broad, but largo isn't as slow as lento. Larghetto is also slow, but it's not as slow as largo. Andante is at a walking pace, and moderato is what it looks like. It's at a moderate pace. We have allegretto, which is lively and moderately fast, but it's not as fast as allegro. And of course, allegro is quick and lively. And then we have the 2 P's, presto, which is faster than allegro, and prestissimo, which is very fast. I've written in the middle column here a saying that might help you remember. Adam lent large legumes and made Al grow peas for presents. Adam, adagio. Lent, lento. Large, largo. Legumes, larghetto. And andante, made moderato. Al, allegretto. Grow, allegro. Presto, peas. And presents, prestissimo. That might help you remember which is the slowest and which is the fastest. We also have terms that affect the tempo of what you're playing. Accelerando looks like accelerate, and if you accelerate, you're getting faster, and in this case, it's gradually faster. A tempo means return to the original tempo or the original speed. Tempo primo also means return to the original tempo. Primo is prime, right? Return to the prime tempo, the original tempo. Rallentando or ral, gradually getting slower. And retardando, which looks like retard, is gradually getting slower, so you're holding back. Next we have some Italian terms for style in music. Cantabile means in a singing style. Con grazia means with grace, and it looks like grace when you look at grazia. And con means with. Dolce is sweetly. Grazioso is gracefully. And when you look at con grazia, is with grace and grazioso is gracefully, so you can kind of see how those two go together. Maestoso is majestically, and again, if you look at the word, you can see how it looks majestic. Marcato is marked or accented, and poco is little, a little, like poco ritardando would be slow down a little bit, or poco diminuendo, gradually become quieter. Tenuto means held or sustained. We also have terms and signs that help with articulation. The first one on this slide is an accent. And of course, an accent means you're going to emphasize the note. And you can see that it looks like a sideways V. Staccato, which you've always been playing, you've been playing staccatos for quite a while, I'm sure. And of course, staccato means that you're playing detached. Here's more articulation markings. A tie. You all know that a tie is a curved line that joins two notes of the same pitch, and the tie is joined at the note head. Whereas a slur is a curved line placed above or below different notes. So on this slide you can see a tie and then a slur, and the difference is that the slur is on different note names. When you draw a slur, you draw the slur from note to note. The slurs always start at the left side of the first note and end at the right side of the last note. You don't want your slurs to touch note heads, and of course you always want them on the same side as the note head of the first note. Let's look at these examples. The first one is incorrect because the slur is beginning and ending somewhere on the line, right? It's not specifically at the first note head and the last note head. The second example is correct because you can see that the slur is beginning on the left of the first note head and it's ending on the right of the last note head. The next one isn't correct because the slur is ending way past that last note head. And of course, the last one is correct. It's the same as the first correct one. If the last note has a stem in the opposite direction, your slur should come close but not touch the end of the stem. In the first example, it's not correct because it's going from note head to note head, which we saw was the correct way when the stems are all going in the same direction. But when the last stem is in a different direction, it's going to go from note head to almost to the end of the stem. Also, the next one is also correct. We're going from note head to note head, and the slur is going under the notes because obviously the stems are going up. It's also correct on the last example as well. You can also have your slur going from stem to stem. Also, make sure that when you're drawing your slurs, that if there are other symbols, you don't want them to be in the way of other symbols. You want it very clear where the slur is. When you're combining a slur and a tie, make sure that the slur continues to the second note of the tie. So you can see in the first example, it's incorrect because the slur is ending with the first tied note. The second example is correct because the slur is going directly right through to the end of the tied note. Here we see a fermata. A fermata is a sign that means that you're going to hold or pause the sound or wait a little bit longer at the rest. There isn't a set length of time that you're going to hold the fermata. It's really up to the performer's discretion. At this level, when you're drawing a fermata, it's always placed above the staff over the exact note or the exact rest that's to be held. Here we see some repeat signs. Sometimes you'll see double bar lines with dots, and what you're going to do is repeat between the two sets of dots. Sometimes you only have a set of dots at the end. That means that once you finish, you're going to go back and repeat it from the beginning. You can also have a da capo or a DC. That means you're going to repeat from the beginning, and sometimes you'll see DC al fine. That means that you're going to go back and repeat it until you see the fine or the end. That's what fine means, is the end. Sometimes you'll see del signo or DS. That means you're going to repeat the del signo sign. And this is what the del signo sign looks like. You'll sometimes also see in keyboard music, you'll sometimes see written near the staff MD or MS. MD means, in Italian, it means mano destra, which means right hand. MS in Italian means mano sinistra, and that means left hand. And that finishes our last module on terms and signs. Of course, these are all in your book as well, and try to use these terms and signs in your everyday life. Look for them in your music. Try as much as you can to incorporate these into your music all the time now. I look forward to seeing you at Theory Club this week, and I hope you have a super duper week. Bye.
It's music theory online. Let's learn some theory online by watching modules online with music theory online.